Welcome to the Elite Podcast Network, home of the #1 independent wrestling coverage, available on iTunes, Stitcher, blogtalk Radio, and wherever you get your podcasts from. Follow us on Twitter at Elite Podcast Net and join the revolution now. WHRADIO.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Wrestlingheads Radio. It's me, Oscar. Joining me now, I got Tom. What's going on, Tom?
Not much. It's been a crazy weekend in the world of professional wrestling. We're getting slammed over here by some rain, which I know you Californians could use some water, so I'll make sure to send it back over to the West Coast.
Yeah, sure. But anyways, I know you said there's a lot of crazy things going on in the world of wrestling, on New Japan. We just had Raw just happened right now. But before we talk all of that, we have a special guest joining us tonight. And if anybody listening is familiar, CCW, or you can say now PWG, the name I'm about to mention, you should recognize his name. He's one half of the tag team Beaver Boys, and he's just recently lost the PWG Tag Team Champions. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for John Silver. What's going on, John? What's going on? It's great to have you on, man. Hopefully, you sound like your phone signal is bad, but let's hopefully we can keep you on, all right?
Yeah. Before we got a little disconnected before, but I hope we're good now.
Yeah, we're good. We can hear you loud and clear now. Before we go on the show in a row, I just want to let our listeners know, if you guys have any questions for John over here, you can always tweet us at Wrestlingheads at any time during the interview, or you can give us a call at area code 347-945-5566, and please be respectful. So, John, I like to ask you, please, I ask all the wrestlers when they first start, how did you actually get into business? Like, how did it all start?
Actually, I've always wanted to do it since, there was never, a moment where I realized that I was a wrestler. Kind of it was obviously pro. So, I think I was 14 years old, and I decided to look up wrestling schools, and I was on a MySpace page, which was back in the day, I guess it was. But I was on a MySpace page, and it was a wrestling thing. You talk wrestling or whatever. And I just asked, hey, does anyone know any schools? And then someone told me about MWC, so I went down there, checked it out, and it just happened that when I went down there to watch, everyone was doing shit off the top ropes, and everyone was doing moonsaults, So I was like, damn, this is awesome. So I think 2 weeks later I joined school, and yeah, that's basically how I got into it.
All right. Going back then, or before you started, who did you look up to, and who you were looking up to back then when you were a fan?
My favorites changed a lot. Growing up, started off obviously as a young kid. It was obviously The Undertaker and Stone Cold, and eventually as I got old, it started to be people like Jeff Hardy and Jericho, Kurt Angle, a lot of people like that. I'm allowed to say his name, Chris Benoit. But
I can
my
say
favorite.
his name. Go for it.
I'm
I'm a big Benoit fan too.
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I'm a big Benoit fan. Yeah.
But growing up, it like changed a lot. Like being really young, obviously, like the fan favorites. Even though I still like, my favorites from back in the day, Stone Cold and The Undertaker. But as I got older, I started to like change up my favorites a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Some of the names you mentioned are guys I like Undertaker, Steve Austin, Jeff Hardy. I actually just met him during WrestleMania week. He was a cool dude. Jeff Hardy is a pretty cool dude. Yeah.
I've never met him, but I heard good things.
Yeah, he's a pretty cool dude, and you should maybe have a match. You and Matt could him and Matt could have a match with you and Alex in the future. So hopefully that'll be cool down the road.
That would be nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Tom, you have a question for John?
Yeah, obviously I want to move from the past to the present. And I think so far in your wrestling career, your most notable name to fame has been teaming with Alex Reynolds at the Beaver Boys. And you guys, I think without a doubt, are one of the hottest tag teams on the independent scene today. How did you and Alex kind of come together and come up with the Beaver Boys to kind of become what you guys are today?
We both started off in NYWC in Long Island, and he would always I would get a ride to training, which was only like 15, 20 minutes away from my mom, and then Alex would drop me off. He would drive me home. So we were always good friends. And then eventually I got my own car and stuff like that, but we were always good friends. And we did a lot of things. We both won like all the singles belts we could. So we just kind of like, hey, a tag team? Like, might as well. And we did that. And actually our first tag team name was Inside Joke. We were called the Slop Hunters, which no one obviously understood because it was an inside joke. But I guess the joke of that was actually Dan Echoes, formerly known as Dan Echoes, now known as Dan Amphibio, I think his real name is. He's a NXT referee. I used to wrestle a lot, and he's a real funny guy back in the WC. And he hit me up. It was weird. He hit me up on Facebook. I was on Facebook. He messaged me, and he's like, "Hey man, what's up?" I'm like, "Oh, nothing. What's going on?" He's like, "Hey, you hooked up with any slops lately?" And I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Slops, like sloppy girls." And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." He's like, "All right, cool, man." And that was the end of the conversation. So I was like, so I told everyone, we're just like, "Oh, it's the slop hunters, and we'll just do weird, stupid stuff." But eventually that ran its course, and we didn't even make that joke anymore. So I got the Beaver Boy name from the show Tim and Eric, and I think is a similar vibe, like Beaver Boys and slop hunting. So I'm like, it makes sense. I just actually went up to Alex. I'm like, "Hey, you want to be the Beaver Boys from now on?" He's like, "Yep," and that's how we changed our name.
Very, very interesting story. When you guys first started tag team, did you guys kind of have chemistry right away? You guys kind of knew what the other person was going to do, and you can kind of vibe off of that, or did it kind of take a little bit while for you guys to get adjusted as a tag team?
Obviously, the more we tag together, the more we vibe together. But I don't remember there being an awkward phase. Since we're good friends, it was pretty easy. The only thing that was weird was that pretty much before this, Alex was a heel his whole career, and I was a face my whole career. And now we were best friends, randomly. So, from the, obviously we were friends before that, but in the ring we were best friends, so it was weird that all of a sudden, I think we started off as the good guys, the fan favorites, the faces. So that was the only maybe weird thing. But I think we pretty much hit it off right away, and we had a lot of good moves, even the moves we do today or stuff that started when we were, just started tagging.
Definitely. And I think you see that when you guys are in the ring, that it's kind of that natural, tag team wrestling that you see where you don't really think about too much of what the other person's going to do. You know what's going to be expected, and it helps transition into a better match. So, I like the name Beaver Boys. It's definitely interesting. So you guys are doing good stuff with that. So
I actually heard something. Actually, I didn't hear it personally, but Alex told me the other day that what's his name? Cornette at the podcast, and hates the name Beaver Boys. He randomly said that. I don't know if that's true or not because someone told Alex about it. But he was talking about bad tag team names, and he said he hates the tag team, the Beaver Boys, or something like that.
I wouldn't be surprised because from what Jim Cornette has said, he's kind of stuck in the 1980s. So yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if he wouldn't want, big, muscly, old school tag teams. But you know what? Like I said, that's Jim Cornette. So I wouldn't be surprised, and nobody should take what Jim Cornette says to heart.
Oh no, we're gonna keep on being the Beaver Boys, so it's not a big deal.
And I don't think it matters because already you guys have had, a great deal of success in such a short amount of time. So let Jim Cornette do his little podcast. All right, Oscar, I'm going to throw it back to you, man.
Yeah, definitely. I was expecting, because when I heard the Beaver Boys tagging for the first time, I'm going to be honest, I thought you guys had to, steal something from the show Leave It to Beaver for some reason, because in the world of wrestling, Leave It to Beaver had to, kind of relate with wrestling. I remember when Headbanger Mosh was playing a Leave It to Beaver character back in the day. It was meant to be like a perverted dude that's in love with his mom or something like that. But I just thought your name would be, you guys' tag team will be related to that. But what you just answered doesn't seem like it.
No, I don't think so.
Nah. All right. Well, my next question I'd like to ask you, you and Alex just recently, or now you guys are part of the PWG roster. I want to ask you, how does it feel that you and Alex are now part of the PWG roster, and not only that, you guys actually won the tag team titles in a short time that you guys were there. So I know a lot of wrestlers out there will love to be part of PWG. I remember we just had a JT Dunn not long ago. He wants to be part of it, and now you guys are part of it. How does it feel like you're one of the boys now there?
Yeah, it feels obviously amazing. Me and I've been fans of PWG for a long time now, and I actually remember how I first got into PWG. I was at Kurt Hawkins or Brian Meyer's house, and we were about to go out drinking, and I think we already started drinking, but we were hanging out, and he's like, "Oh, I got to show you this. I got to show you this match. It's so funny." So he puts on PWG, and it was Bryan Danielson versus Kenny Omega when they did the whole what's that spot? I don't know if you've ever seen that match. If you guys haven't seen that match, you have to watch it. It's really funny, but it's also amazing wrestlers, so they also wrestle, but it's such a funny match. They do the John Baker jingle, and I was dying. And at the time, I wasn't a big I would wrestle on just MWC shows, and I didn't do anything else. So that kind of one of the matches that got me into indie wrestling. After that, I wanted to go out and go other places and do different things. But I was young when I first saw that, so I've been a PWG fan for a while, and after that I've been buying all the DVDs and stuff like that. So it was a really big deal when we found out we were going to get booked and flown out there. So it was just a really it was a real surreal, I guess, a moment, I guess, when we first found out we were going out there. And then on our third show, we held the and we main evented their show, so that was kind of another crazy moment. It was weird because we didn't even get to fully enjoy it at the time, I guess, because we got there, we wrestled their first match, then we wrestled our next match, we won the belt. It was great for the moment, then we realized we had to wrestle again. We had to wrestle again. And at that time, going into our last match, we were already about 20 feet going into that last match, because PWG days are crazy. Like, you get flown out super early. We had like a layover in Texas. If something, the Legion Hall, get ready and start wrestling. So it's like we're up all this time, and the last match didn't go on until like 12:30 their time, which was in New York time 3:30. So, and I think we woke up at like 4 or 4:30 to go to the airport. So we were like exhausted going into our last match, and then it was just like it was still an awesome feeling. But like when we were finally like on our way home, we were like, hey, you know what? We just main evented PWG's one of their biggest shows of the year. So it's kind of like a really cool moment. Eventually when it sank in, it was awesome. But it was definitely one of our biggest goals was to get out to it, and it finally happened. I gotta thank the Bucks for that too. We wrestled them, and the ones that put in the good word for us. So it's pretty cool that also probably the tag team in the world would go out of their way to put in a word for us. So that was cool too.
Yeah, the good thing about you guys having a PWG, it's like you guys are working as almost like a heel type team in PWG. And then we always discuss, like, it's pretty hard to be a heel in PWG due to the fact that it seems like the fans just cheer for everybody, and like it's just as soon as you come in, you're getting cheered like, I don't know, like you say, the WWE crowd, Daniel Bryan comes in, just like that, everybody could get cheered. The only guys I see to get heat was Adam Cole when he was there, and I guess you guys, especially when Alex doing the jerking off arm thing and all that stuff, and I feel like they give heat more to Alex than you, because like going out there being part of the crowd when you like the small guy yelling at somebody, motherfucker, and you start fucking somebody up, they react to that. So I mean, if anything, I feel like Alex is the one who's carrying the heat for both of you guys, So yeah. So it's pretty cool that you guys are. And also Monster Mafia. I mean, out there too, they come out and disrespect the MMA fighters that like to attend the show. I mean, and Ethan with his showing off his bare ass. I mean, that's pretty. You can say they could give out kind of heat out there too. But it's pretty good that you guys are doing that, and it's cool to bring more tag teams. I mean, me living from California, it's like I feel like having PWG in the area where I live is like, okay, this is the only opportunity for me to get to see guys like from CCW, Evolve, Dragon Gate, or Ring of Honor guys. This is like the only chance I could see them wrestle in person, because all those companies don't come to the West Coast that often. I even met DJ Hyde when he was here in California. I asked him, hey, is there any chance you could bring CCW to LA? I mean, you just say you never know, and fortunately, I understand, how the business is. Sometimes, it's a little pricey, but hey, if some of you guys could come to PWG, I'm up for it, and that's like to me the only opportunity to see you guys there. And it's great to see you guys out there in PWG. So, all right. My next question I have to ask you about PWG. Maybe you can give us maybe a little early info, if anything. Right now, the next show is on the 26th of June. Is there any possible way you can tell us if you guys are going to be on the show? Because I know the show is called Mystery Vortex. So is there really anything you can give us early information that you and Alex could be part of that show?
I guess I can't. I mean, it's a mystery. It's a mystery vortex. So I'm not allowed to say if I'm going to be there or not, or if Alex will be there or not, or what we're doing or what's going on. But I can tell you that we'll be back soon. But I don't know who to what's the mystery.
All right. So, okay, we'll just keep our little Scooby van and see what happens because, last time we had a Mystery Vortex. I mean, it was just so weird. Like, one point, like all of a sudden Cedric, Trevor Lee, and Andrew Everett, what the hell? All of a sudden, and just that. You never know what could toss. You guys could go in there and wrestle against somebody, and all of a sudden, what the hell? Now we see you guys going against, I don't know, freaking Ricochet and Rich Swann out of nowhere, So,
yeah.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. All right, Tom, you have a question for John?
Yeah, I kind of wanted to touch on a little bit of part of DDT4 that I think a lot of wrestlers and fans don't really get a chance to talk about. Obviously, that night, you guys were workhorses, working 3 matches in one night. How hard is it to first of all, be working multiple matches in one night, and then to kind of have to live up to the PWG crowd expectations where it's usually, above a normal standard of wrestling?
It's exhausting. That's like the main word, because you wrestle, especially when we were on with barely any, and our eating schedule isn't like the best because we're just kind of eating. We had Denny's, and then we had, this little, snack over here, and our eating was not great too, so we didn't have home nutrients, so we didn't have enough sleep. But all of our matches, it's fortunate that the preview video didn't come out, so not everyone even knows how our matches went, or at least a preview of it. But we wrestled 3 totally different matches, which I thought was definitely different. This was more of a hearted, fun match. Or match. I don't know if I'm giving up spoiler alert because I'm telling you who we wrestled. But second match is Monster Mafia, which is kind of like more of a brawl and really fast paced. And our last match was kind of like a slower, but I guess more of a slower but drama filled match. So it definitely. The one thing that's hard is, you have little time to prepare for your next match, so it's not like, you're super ready for your next match or your last match, but you still want to go out there and kill it. So it's difficult, like you don't know, going into it, I don't even know who eventually I'm going to wrestle next, so you don't have that time to think about what to do and all the cool stuff that you can do. And, so it's definitely harder. It's a lot harder to wrestle your best match, your energy, but like the next ones are tougher, a lot tougher. So mind you, I don't want to disappoint. And if we're in the finals, this is the main event, so this has got to be, it's supposed to be like the best match or the more anticipated match. So there's a lot of nerves going into that last match, but I think we did pretty well all of our matches. I'm pretty happy with it, even though we didn't win at the end.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine myself even wrestling one match, let alone 3 in one night. So obviously, big props and credit to both you and Alex for doing that. And speaking of DDT4, this is actually going to lead into my next question. Another team that debuted that night, Team Tremendous, you're going to be a part of a triple threat tag match at CZW New Heights, July 11th. You, Team Tremendous, the Young Bucks. Talk about that match, because I think that is going to be a hell of a match and maybe even a dream match for some people on the indie scene.
Yeah, I'm really be a team we're super familiar with. We wrestled them so many companies now. We wrestled them like pretty much almost everywhere we go. So, and we wrestled them multiple times at CZW. So very familiar with them. We had great matches with them. Dave, actually, when I started wrestling, he was not a trainer there, but like he helped, I guess, if that makes sense. So I've known him since I started. So we're very familiar with him. Young Bucks, we wrestled Young Bucks once in Brooklyn, and we had a great match with them. That's how we, initially got booked in PWG. But put 3 teams, 2 other teams, like 2 of my favorite teams to wrestle, and I think it's going to be awesome. Sure, it's the main event that night. It's ECW Arena, so it's going to make it even crazier. And I mean, it's going to be an amazing match. I could promise you that. Yeah, I'm really excited for it, so I can't wait.
I mean, I see a lot of people hyping it up. It's going to be available on iPay-per-view to all the people listening. CZWWrestling.com is where you can find all the information. July 11th. But when you're getting into a match with those two teams, is it kind of comforting knowing that these are two veteran tag teams that, of course, both those teams, and you and Alex included, you guys have so much success on the indie scene. Does it kind of comfort you knowing that these are veterans and they know what they're doing, and it's going to be kind of easier to work with them to have a better match?
Oh, of course. I mean, there's people that I've wrestled that are top indie guys or top guys, and for some reason, like, you just don't click, or there's nothing, like, you don't like for some whatever reason. And but these two teams are just, it's always super easy. Like, we could easily, we could hang out, we could, put stuff together in 10 minutes if we really want to. And there's no disagreements, or it's not many disagreements, and no arguing, and simple and smooth. And then that all translates in the ring, which is the best part, because sometimes you talk about stuff and then eventually you get in the ring and it comes out shitty. So both times, like every time, pretty much team tremendous. And even that one match we had with the Young Bucks, just everything super smooth, and it worked. It just went very well. So it's like, yeah, it is. We have some chemistry, and so it should definitely be even better. Like, obviously, you want, there's younger guys who, just don't have, they're never on the same page, I guess, because they don't have the experience. Like, if I'm trying to do one thing and they're thinking another thing, it just doesn't work out. But these guys are awesome, so there's going to be no problems.
I know. I mean, personally, I can't wait for that match. I can't wait to see it on iPay-per-view. Might actually even make my way down to Voorhees, New Jersey for that. So anyone in the metropolitan New York area, make sure you make your way down for that. But if you're like Oscar on the West Coast, you could always watch on iPay-per-view July 11th. And speaking of Oscar, I'll pass it back to you.
Yeah, definitely. It's all right. I know I won't be in the East Coast area, but I just could wait. I could just wait when they come to the West Coast, It's not like I'm not going to see John Silver for the last time, so I'm a patient guy, But speaking about, where you're going to be wrestling at, I see this weekend, actually, you're going to be heading up north to Alpha One Wrestling, I see. But they're pretty much busting a PWG thing right now. I see they haven't announced your opponent. I'm trying to look on the website. I see you guys' picture and everything, but I don't see no picture or anything. But is there any possible way you can tell us right now who could be your possible opponents for this weekend's event?
Well, they actually did announce it. We're actually a gauntlet match with for the belts. I'm not even 100% sure every team that is in it, but I know the Super Smash Brothers are in it. And
I missed those guys.
That's all I can think of off the top of my head. But I think it's about a 16 tag team gauntlet. So all I know is the Super Smash Brothers are in it, and they're awesome. So hopefully,
I think the Goat Brigade might be in there too.
Yes, the Goat Brigade. Brigade. I can't think of the top of my head, but yeah, it should be a fun match. If you're in the Canada area, Toronto area, come on down. If not, buy the DVD, and that should be fun. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure our boy Matthew Grant will be up there. He goes to all the big shows up there in Canada. But anybody's listening from their neighbors up north, I will go there if anything. It looks like it's gonna be a fun event. And Alpha One's been putting good shows. I'll just tell you that right now. And yeah, if anybody, like I said, like what John just said, if you're on the Canada area or somewhere in Canada, just head on down to Toronto and have some fun. Just watch some wrestling out there. I mean, everywhere John Silver goes, just be out there. Is there also any shows that you like to talk about that you're gonna be a part of anytime soon?
I think I'm really shitty at remembering stuff. I just have it in my little phone calendar, and then sometimes until it's that almost that weekend, I'm I'll just check it out. So I'm hey, where we booked this shit? But let me think. I know we got Alpha One this weekend after that. I think I'm doing NYWC. I think that's the weekend after that.
Okay.
I don't know. Shit. NYWC, Alpha One, Beyond Wrestling, PWG, CZW. Those are the main places. Five Borough Wrestling. Those are the main places I work at. I don't know the dates. Just look those places up and you can see where I'm wrestling.
Yeah, just look. Yeah, people just look our places up. Follow us on Twitter. Look at our Twitter because you never know. Maybe we'll see the Beaver Boys at PWG Mystery Vortex. So keep an eye on our Twitter because you never know who could be wrestling. So it could be anybody. You just didn't expect. Maybe against the returning Young Bucks. Who knows?
Maybe.
All right,
you never know.
You never know. All right, I'm going to pass it back to Tom. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah. I mean, for the last couple of years, obviously you and Alex have only been teaming since about 2013 around there. So you guys are still kind of a fresh tag team, but obviously one of the most popular tag teams on the indie scene. And as I talked about earlier, the indie scene is just completely filled with such great tag teams. What is it, do you think, that you and Alex kind of have to do going forward to kind of keep yourselves fresh in a sea full of talent going forward?
It's a good question. I mean, I feel like one thing that, makes us different is that we're not, they're not even similar wrestlers. Most teams are two guys that have a very similar, rather a look or wrestle very similar. But me and Alex, we don't look alike. We don't wrestle alike, but we have good chemistry together. So I think that's one thing that helps us keep us fresher. Most teams. We were faces in most places. That runs faces most places. Recently, like CZW and many other companies, but we actually just been heel now everywhere. So I guess that's another thing that kind of switched it up. We never been a heel tag team really for the most part, but now pretty much everywhere I think we're heels. So I think that's another thing that helps us be different. I think it's just our how we work together and how we're not doing the same moves that we that me and Alex don't do the same moves as each other. We wrestle a different style. I think that's what makes us fresh, and we're always thinking of different moves, different tag moves. I think the other week we started using a new move that I just randomly thought of. Always trying to add to our repertoire, if you will, and try to do different and exciting stuff, I guess. Oh,
without a doubt. I mean, I think because you see so much praise on social media and different wrestling websites of you guys that you can see that going forward you guys are going to be, probably part of the epicenter of the tag team division. Do you and Alex kind of maybe see yourselves in that light that you guys are kind of, helping kind of groom what the tag team division is in, say, CZW or maybe the whole independent, scene going on in the United States and even Canada now?
Yeah, we definitely like to. I mean, I guess we've been tagging a decent amount of time now, especially CZW and places like that. And there's a lot of people. There's not as many tag teams, obviously, as there is single competitors, and a lot of people like to do their single thing. But I feel like there needs to be more tag teams, and then how, a lot of people like to see good tag team wrestling. So if we could groom, I don't know, groom. That's a weird word. What do you mean by groom?
Well, I mean, kind of maybe lead the tag team division and maybe some up-and-coming wrestlers, or they're kind of skeptical about maybe forming a tag team because maybe the mindset for them is, if I'm in a tag team, it might not work out, or I might not get as much, time in the ring or whatever, just because they have that mindset that they kind of have to be a singles wrestlers. But then they can look to you and Alex and say, okay, we can have major success as a tag team, and it can be fresh for years.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like maybe the one thing that stops people from making a tag team is they want to be by themselves and get all the praise, I guess. This is, because all wrestlers, we're all, I guess, like attention. We're all in the ring, wearing less, like Speedos. So I guess we all enjoy the attention. So a lot of people don't want to be in a team because they like to do it all by themselves. But, that's not exactly what the crowd always wants to see. The crowd loves tag team wrestling. So with me and Alex, it's not a big deal at all. Like, I don't mind sharing, the attention or whatever with Alex. It's not a big deal. But, yeah, if more people, I wouldn't say just form a tag team with someone. You should, make sure you find someone that you have a good chemistry with and can work well together with. But with, I guess, with, even younger guys, if they could, I guess, if we get, I don't want to say room, I said it's weird, but if we could help by any means with any other younger teams or anything like that, of course we, the more teams, the better. The more teams you can wrestle, the better. So I guess that's my take on that.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe room wasn't the correct term for that, but I think the point was there, and I think that's, you made up a good point where people kind of want the spotlight on themselves, and a lot of fans might not know what's going on in tag team wrestling, and I think CZW is an excellent point, because with CZW, it's you get the typical CZW stuff as this weekend, which is Tournament of Death, CZW's biggest tournament of the year, their most notable tournament, and then that's what people kind of think all CZW is, because they don't go out and see the rest of the pay-per-views. That's what's going on, and they don't know that the tag team scene in CZW is doing good, a whole bunch of different stuff. Best of the Best was a very successful tournament, so I think it's kind of the mindset of just some fans not to get out of their way to go watch, something new. They just kind of stuck in that one mindset.
Yeah, I mean, CZW, I guess, especially their early years, built up the big reputation of being the deathmatch place, and they would have multiple death matches a show. But the company has really evolved now, where it's different now. Like, I've been on multiple shows when there is no death matches at all, or is no like crazy stipulation match. So the company is, there's a lot of great wrestling talent there now. Not saying that deathmatch, not a knock on deathmatch guys, because they do what they do very good too. But I guess I should say like technical, and they have, now we have great technical wrestlers. We have high flyers, we have brawlers, we got the deathmatch guys. So it's like we have it all now, but it's not just deathmatch. Obviously, Tournament of Death will be pretty much just a deathmatch, because that's the name of the show. But besides that, you don't see it as much anymore, which I think is good, because we still have it, but it's not all the time, so it doesn't get, I guess it won't get stale. But you also have, anything you like in wrestling, like a lot of the high flying, we have it, like I was saying, the technical, everything. So whatever you like, CW has that, we have some of it. So I think it's definitely a good product that evolves,
Gotta agree 100% there. And, that's what my hopes are, is, going forward with independent wrestling as it continues to grow, is that people kind of get out of a single mindset and kind of explore new options. And I see CZW as probably one of the forefront companies in doing that.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, Oscar, throw it back to you, man.
Yeah, definitely. I want to ask you a couple of questions about maybe kind of relates to WWE. I remember a few years ago. Well, actually, I'm gonna start back when I first started watching wrestling. Was the tag team division back then? We had Demolition and LOD. I just thought they looked cool with makeup and spice and all that. Then you had the Hart Foundation, Rockers. You know, that was back when I first started watching. And then I started watching it because of the tag team division. And what pissed me off a couple of years ago, some people were saying, "Oh, tag team wrestling is dead because WWE had a shitty tag team division, or the Dudleys or Team 3D went to TNA and they don't have no competition in TNA." And then what pissed me off, like, "Oh, well, then go watch the Ring of Honor. Look at the Kings of Wrestling. Look at the Briscoes. Look at back then the American Wolves." I mean, you just can't say tag team wrestling is dead because WWE didn't have a strong tag team division back then. But then now, today, it just seems like it's hard I can't even believe myself. I'm saying right now, WWE has a good tag team division. And ask yourself, maybe you can consider a tag team guy. How did you think maybe today tag team division or the tag team division from anywhere pretty much just somehow resurrected? Do you think it's because maybe in my opinion, Ring of Honor made it excited, and also New Japan, and then with the growth been going on the last year, do you feel like more people got more interested in tag team, and then now you have WWE straighten out their tag team division? Or do you feel like at one point maybe it was just bad timing for the tag team division? Like, in your opinion, what do you think in your opinion that now the tag team is like red hot right now?
Well, I think, as it pertains to WWE, I think they do their own thing. I feel like they don't take. They bring their they do nowadays, but turn on the tag team division. Let's make our tag division like that. Like that, I think they just kind of maybe a few teams that could carry the ball maybe a little more. With other places like Ring of Honor, I feel like I guess they were just really thinking about WWE, maybe TNA as well, but because the TV product, Ring of Honor wasn't on TV then, or wasn't really, so that's what they see. I don't even remember any tag team. Obviously, being too great, but definitely some better teams. I think they were just talking about WWE, but I'm glad that they're giving it more attention now. I hope they can use their teams. And the Tyson kid and Cesaro was probably the best tag team he has. They put the Wyatts back together. Eric Rowan, and they had one of the Usos is still hurt, so hopefully he'll come soon. I actually really enjoyed this day, and there's more tag teams, but I'm glad they're giving it more attention.
Yeah, it is. I'm actually happy because I like the last couple of years. I always said Ring of Honor had the best tag division, but then now you see WWE doing all this stuff. I'm all like, hey, you know what? And also even in NXT, I'm like, hey, WWE's tag division's got a good group of guys now. I'm like, I'm very excited for the tag team division now. I mean, it's very exciting. I mean, I hear like podcasts from JR and stuff. They're pretty much old school guys. They always mention like, why can they put Cena as a heel? They're giving heat, and if you put Cena as a heel, he'll get major heat. But the New Day, I mean, man, I mean, they get heat. But then I think it's smart to turn them heels, and then look what they got. They're red hot right now, and I like that. And then I'm sure the old guys like Michael P.S. Hayes and whoever's in the bag, they're loving it. So they're old school guys. They feel like if you're booing somebody, you got to turn them heel. I mean, that's how they are. They're not like, there people are booing Cena and they still turn babyface, or Roman Reigns, but, the New Day doing their thing, it's freaking awesome. But, my next question I'd like to ask you, that still race WWE. I saw a video that you tried to do it. I mean, you actually did a Tough Enough video, but sadly to say that I don't think you made the final 40. But I did saw your video though on Tough Enough. But my question I'd like to ask you is that even though you didn't make the top 40, if you and Alex were to get to sign in the WWE, which tag team you would love to work for? If you could pick one, which tag team that would be in the current roster tag team right now?
I mean, it's tough, but I think I would say Cesaro and Kate. Cesaro he's probably my favorite wrestler in the WWE right now, and Tyson Kidd is awesome as well. So I feel like that was a lot of fun. Also, obviously, the Usos would be close.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention about them. You know, even though one of them is injured, you know, we gotta bring those guys up there too.
yeah, definitely. That's but big fans were graded.
Yeah, definitely.
Well,
yeah, definitely. Yeah, but like I said, sucks that I don't think you made the top 40 in a Tough Enough thing. But my question I'd like to ask you about that. I mean, I know you made the video hoping to get in, but now that we all witnessed hold on, I think we lost John for a second here. Hey, Tom, you there?
Yep, I'm here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we did lose John Silver, but we will bring him on in a quick sec. All right, Tom, can you, in the meantime, I know we haven't talked New Japan, but I'm going to try to see if I get John back, but can you mention about New Japan for a quick sec for our listeners while I try to bring John back on the online. So let them know about the announcement of the G1 Climax for the meantime.
Yeah, so obviously the G1 Climax was announced at the middle of the Best of the Super Juniors final day, which was Sunday.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay.
Yeah, we'll talk New Japan in just a little bit.
Yeah, hold on.
Hey, sorry, I guess we got disconnected again.
Yeah, it's all good. we just let our listeners know we're live, so anything can happen, just like Vince McMahon would say. All right.
That's true.
Well, all right. Well, I was gonna say back to my question about your Tough Enough video. Making that video, and I know you're trying to get in somehow in the WWE, but is that something you always wanted to do in your life, or is something like how we witnessed last year when Daniel Bryan won the WWE World title in WrestleMania last year, and there was a lot of people were saying he'll never get that moment because of his size, and you're kind of a short guy yourself. I mean, do you feel like going in there? Or how confident are you? You think if you ever get in the roster, you can possibly have a Hall of Fame career just like what Daniel Bryan did. It's just showing you don't have to be a big buff dude like Batista. You can be maybe a 6 foot or underneath 6 foot guy. Not having you could do that. Having a success like Daniel Bryan did. Do you still have confidence today you can do that?
Oh yeah, I mean, getting to the WWE is obviously my biggest goal, and I don't care who you ask. Anyone that's wrestling now, that's their big goal. Even the people that don't wrestle for fun, if they were ever offered anyone, because anyone to offer that contract, they would accept it. So
yeah,
of course that's my big goal. I love, that's where you get the most exposure. That's where you make the most money. That's for kids, so that's what I like. But going into the WWE, I guess they, I'm really confident that we'll get there eventually, but nowadays it makes me more confident they're counting all these indie guys, and especially they signed Daniel Bryan, and I don't know what they'd build Daniel Bryan at, but he's probably about 5'8", which is not much taller than me.
I met the guy last year at SummerSlam weekend, and I'm taller than him, and I'm maybe 6 foot, so I know I'm taller than him. So
yeah.
And I was wearing Chucks, so I mean I'm taller than the guy. And I seen you, and I met you at PWG, and I'm taller than you, so I'm
Yeah.
So,
it's glad that it's glad that the business has evolved a little bit. But I'm glad the business evolved where they're actually signing the people that are good wrestlers and not just the guys that are 6'5", freaking jacked up really good wrestler. Makes me more confident that I can get there one day.
Yeah, and I feel like also timing it's different timing now. I mean, I feel like the whole muscle thing was all 80s, like Hulk Hogan, Mr. Wonderful. That's all 80s look. But now it's a different time. I mean, you can go out there, do what you do, and then you can have a lot of success in there. I mean, I feel like that's where they're going. Look at Kevin Owens. I mean, if he was trying to get into WWE 10 years ago, I don't think he'll never have this success. And there's people are saying that if it weren't for the Attitude Era, Mick Foley would never have been WWE champion, So, it's a different timing, and I feel like things are changing in a positive way, and who knows, maybe down the line we'll see you, or maybe you could bring Alex with you, and maybe we'll see you in an NXT program or something. So
that sounds good to me.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. All right, I'm going to pass it back to Tom. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, obviously we've been talking a lot about what you and Alex have accomplished so far. What are some goals that you are kind of setting out to do in 2015 and beyond?
Well, the first one, at the top of the list was PWG, so we crossed that off pretty early in 2015. But going forward, we'd like to and any other country that is interested. Just want to get out there and travel and work as much as possible, reach as many fans as possible. So definitely never been to Europe, and I've never obviously wrestled in Europe. So that's definitely a top one, and same thing with Japan. So those are the top two on our list.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's what a lot of indie wrestlers definitely strive for, is to get out of the country. So, I mean, you guys started in Canada, so I wouldn't be surprised if you guys are booked in Europe and Japan soon. And one final question that we wanted to ask to anybody that has never heard of the Beaver Boys, never seen a Beaver Boys match before, what is the one match that you can point someone to that kind of defines who the Beaver Boys are?
I guess with the PWG, I feel like we can be 100% ourselves. Except, like, everything we do, I guess, to an extent. Like, at at some companies I can't be that sure, or I can't do the fun stuff because they don't understand. I can't. Some places I can't. Maybe they'll give us only 8 minutes, so we can't go full out. But at PWG, we do everything that we want. So, I mean, our first match at PWG was against the Best Friends, and we did a really funny comedy match. I really enjoy doing because I'm really a big fan of comedy, and if you could put it into wrestling, I think it's funny. So, comedy match we also wrestling. Our next match we do a little bit we do a little comedy, but we also have a good wrestling match. And then I guess all of our matches at DDT4 were different and kind of show off what we could do. So I guess I said when DDT4 comes out, give it a buy. But besides that, our matches with Team Tremendous it's been a lot of fun. If you we have a bunch of videos, vignettes, I guess we filmed with Team Tremendous leading, which was our big feud of them trying to arrest us and we got away. It's on CCW's YouTube page. Check those out. There's a bunch of them that are really funny and probably the most fun I've had in wrestling. So I guess if you watch those and our PWG stuff, I guess that will really define who we are, as a tag team.
Couldn't agree more, and I think I was thinking PWG was going to be the first place that I would point people to, because you saw such a good mix. You saw, of course, the comedy, which a lot of people enjoyed, but you did see the straight wrestling. And from what I've heard, that people that went to DDT, they especially were saying, for the first time they saw the Beaver Boys, and they were saying, oh, John Silver, he's a little smaller guy, and you're pulling out these huge German suplexes, and you're looking like this, like a miniature Brian Cage, and people were just raving about you. So definitely would go there. But I know it's getting late. I'm here on the East Coast too. Don't want to keep you up anymore because I know you got to get your beauty rest. So
of course,
if you got any social media plugs, upcoming dates, whatever you got, throw it out to the listeners so they can find you and check you out.
Like I said before, on this Sunday in Toronto. I don't know any of my really, but 5 Borough Wrestling, PWG, check those places out. And my social, and it's an annoying tag to explain, but it's silver on numbers spelled out. So check that out. To post and try to make people laugh on there. So yeah, check it out.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
All right, John, I would like to thank you for coming on the show, and it was a great time having you on, and I'd just like to say, hopefully we can have you back on. Maybe you could bring Alex with you,
Yeah, definitely.
All right, definitely. All right, John, like I said, it was nice talking to you, and I guess I'll see you soon at another PWG show down the road.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me on, and I'll see you guys soon.
All right. Well, you have a good night now.
You too. Later, man.
All right. Take care, man. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was John Silver. I know some of this sound was a little off there, but hey, I had a great time with them. It was a great time. I'm sure you had a great time with them too, huh, Tom?
Oh, of course. Beaver Boys, one of the most entertaining tag teams going on today. I always like talking to people that are in tag teams because you kind of get a little bit of a different perspective as opposed to all the singles wrestlers that are out there. So yeah, make sure you guys check out John Silver and the Beaver Boys. As always, you can follow him on Twitter at Silver1. So check that out. So yeah, great interview, and keep checking out the Beaver Boys and PWG, CZW. Of course, Alpha 1 this Sunday, which we'll probably discuss toward the end of the show, a little bit about that show coming up, because it's a big one.
Yeah, definitely. All right, we're going to take a little commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to talk about Raw, and we're going to talk maybe some New Japan, because the finals of the Best of the Super Juniors happened this past weekend. So, we'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Drew Gulak, and you are listening to Wrestlingheads Podcast.
This is the Juice JT Dunn, and you're listening to Wrestlingheads Radio.
All right, we're back on Wrestlingheads Radio. We just got off with John Silver. All right, Monday Night Raw. All right, before we talk Raw, what's your thought of tonight's Raw, Tom?
It was a rough one. It was rough in the sense that it was kind of boring at points, and I mean, it's so tough to watch a 3-hour Raw. Like, it just, I say it every week, but it just keeps getting harder and harder, especially when a lot of the, there's only a couple storylines going on that are kind of intriguing and exciting, but, 2 storylines can't help a 3-hour show.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't know how the experience. I know some people complain like, oh man, it's a 3-hour show, but to me, it's like I come home from work, Raw's on, and I just be like, okay, I just take a quick shower, then up on the couch and just watch Raw, and I can fast forward things. But if you're watching Raw live, without having your DVR set, but you're watching it live, I mean, I don't know how you felt that going through that every week experience. You can't fast forward this, you can't fast forward that. But me, I have the power to do it. I mean, it's hard for me to say, fuck, this is rough. This is hard. It's really hard to maintain this, but it's, that's for me. It's hard for me to say, give an answer for that. But yeah, I figure that. But I can tell you this though, I like how it started off with John Cena coming out. Then you have Kevin Owens coming out, telling everybody's sick and tired of seeing you and your stupid U.S. Open challenge, whatever, title challenge, whatever. Then he wanted to put his NXT title, an open NXT title. Then out comes Neville, which Kevin Owens gave out an option: either you have a match with him or John Cena, which Neville, which he was a former NXT champion, he picked Owens. And no matter what he picked, I was looking for a good match, and what happened? We got a good match. Him and Owens did pretty well, even though it's not like back in the day when he used to be at Reseda, California. But I enjoyed that match. They know each other really well. I even like that NXT match they had a few months back. But it just seems like Kevin and Adrian Neville always have some kind of a good chemistry together. But I say it was a good match. I enjoyed it, and Kevin Owens got the win. So, Tom, what do you thought about that match?
I thought it was good. I like the opening promo between Owens and Cena. Right now, Owens versus Cena is the best feud going on in WWE. I know Ambrose and Rollins are going at it, and that's good, but there's something about Owens and Cena that's taken it to like a whole nother level, especially with Owens pinning Cena clean at Elimination Chamber that really helped the feud going forward. The promos from both guys have been great. I expect the match at Money in the Bank to be another great match. I don't know how they're going to be able to top the first match, because the first was pretty good. But going to the Neville Owens match, I thought it was a good match. Some good spots in there. They got some time to start off Raw, and the only thing is though, it's just like it's another loss for Neville, and it's like, how much longer are they going to keep him in the spot where, he does all his spots and he's entertaining, but he keeps losing. There's only so long you can do that without having him kind of fade out. They need, after Money in the Bank ends, they need to kind of put Neville in a spot where they can get him into a feud going forward. They had him in a feud with Bo for like a couple of weeks, and then that ended at Elimination Chamber. They need to get this guy into a good feud going forward that can kind of elevate him. Otherwise, he's going to kind of get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, I think that feud might not happen right now due to the fact that he's going to be part of the Money in the Bank match this weekend. Hopefully, after that, we could see him in some kind of feud. But
yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is that after Money in the Bank, they need to kind of push him forward, and I think by SummerSlam he needs to be in a good, solid feud and have, something going into that pay-per-view.
Yeah, I'm hoping for that too. I mean, SummerSlam, I'm hoping he gets a spot at SummerSlam. I want that to happen. I don't want to see no fucking pre-show match. Fuck that shit. He should have a spot. So, yeah, definitely. I'll be down to see him and Cena going at it again at SummerSlam, and maybe he'll be the one to take Cena's title. I mean, that'd be great. But we'll see what happens with Adrian.
That'll be tough, though, just because there's Battleground in between, and I think the feud would maybe end at Battleground. I don't know if they could do 4 matches. That might be, because I think Rusev and Cena had 4 matches, and that was kind of excessive. I think if they're going to do 2 or 3, that's fine, but anything past that is kind of pushing it, a little bit over. It's not going to have the same effect. So either the feud has to end at Money in the Bank or it has to end at Battleground.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't know if you buy the rumors that supposedly the WWE creator are not in favor to have Cena beat Owens in a match. So we'll just see what happens. I mean, if they're not in favor, maybe just talk. But we'll see what happens. Owens and Cena. But the thing about Cena, before we go off subject, but he has suffered a broken nose, and we saw the stitches today on Raw. But he suffered a broken nose during the live event against Wade Barrett. But I don't know. I'm sure he's going to wrestle this weekend against Owens. But do you feel that will the broken nose affect John Cena some kind of way this weekend?
I don't see it happening. A broken nose isn't that big of an injury. It's not like a torn muscle or a pulled muscle or a broken bone or something like that, like on his arm or legs, that's really going to affect him. The nose doesn't really come into play with wrestling. The only thing is maybe he'll be in a little bit of pain. I don't know how serious the break was, but I don't see it affecting him. It's only a broken nose. Look what happened to Kevin Owens on his debut in NXT. Got busted open by that palm strike by CJ Parker, and he kept going. So yeah. I don't think a broken nose really affects wrestlers as much as other injuries. It's considered a minor one, probably.
Yeah, but I can tell you this though. I feel like sometimes broken nose you can easily bleed, but we know how the WWE backstage they don't like to see Cena bleed now these days. So let's see. But I just hopefully they just let him bleed. Fuck it. Let Owens beat the shit out of him. Let him bleed. Fuck it. If they didn't have Owens,
yeah, I mean, if he bleeds from the nose, they can't do anything about it. Look what happened with Dolph Ziggler and Sheamus not too long ago when Ziggler got busted open at the end of the match after a headbutt, and that really kind of added to the end of the match after Sheamus kicked him and made it look that much better. So, and they didn't stop the match because Dolph Ziggler was busted open. So, if Cena bleeds, he bleeds. They're not going to do anything.
Yeah, I just hope no fucking medical staff bring a towel just during the match. I mean, that's some fucking bullshit. So, just let him bleed. Let him fight with the blood. Fuck it. Let's just see what happens. But, yeah, that's pretty much one of the positives about Raw today. The Kevin Owens and Neville match. Also, what happened on Raw, you see Dean Ambrose partying around New Orleans with the WWE title, posting them on Instagram. And also, they announced the top 40 of finalists for Tough Enough. Only one person I recognize on the 40 list, but I could tell you this though. Me and Skid saw her wrestle like 2 weekends ago at AWS Ladies Night, and the redhead chick, that name is Ashley. Well, she wrestles as Shotzi. She's from Oakland, California, and me and saw her. She was not bad. She did some crazy ass spots where she wrestled Brittany Wonder, and she was outside the ring, and then she was on top of the road, on the turnbuckle on top, and she jumped from all the way down there and landed on Brittany Wonder. We don't see most chicks do that now these days, but she did it, and she did some couple of cool spots that got Skid standing up. So, I mean, she's okay in the ring, not that bad. This is the first time I saw her, but I heard her name around, so she's like the only one I recognize in the finalist. But Tom, what's your thoughts of the Tough Enough 40 finalists? Are you a little disappointed? Because it sounds like you can be disappointed because some of the names that you heard or made a tape, pretty much are not in the finalists.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't recognize any of those names. I mean, like I've been saying for months now, most of these Tough Enough videos have been absolute shit. Most of these people do not have an ounce of charisma in their body. Like 90% of these Tough Enough videos have been exactly the same. Some person in their living room trying to cut a promo, and they're all the same thing. They're all the same message. Everybody is saying the same exact words. There's nobody that was different. Obviously, I'm really disappointed that Lufisto didn't get selected. I have no fucking idea why. Tessa Blanchard did not get picked as well. I have absolutely no idea why. I guarantee you both of those women could wrestle circles around all the men and women that were picked in the top 40 for Tough Enough. I have no doubt in my mind. Lufisto could probably beat the shit out of 90% of the guys that were picked because most of them looked like little chicken shits. Some of them had some muscle, but like most of them looked, I don't know. Like I said, I'll have to see what they do with Tough Enough and how these people actually are when it debuts in a couple weeks. It's just, it's disappointing that, they didn't get picked, but, maybe I have hope that, because of what's been happening with all these tryouts and WWE signing indie guys and women, hopefully Lufisto and Tessa Blanchard maybe just get signed right away instead of having to go through Tough Enough.
Yeah, I mean, Tessa Blanchard is still surprising because when I first heard her name around, a lot of people were like, she's going to get in easily. I mean, like, they haven't seen her wrestle, and they were like saying, because she got the last name, and her looks sign easily. And I was like, I got to see her how she's in the ring. Fuck that shit, I mean, I know she's good looking and all, and she has the last name, but I gotta see her wrestle. And I've seen her some of her matches. She's not that bad. I'll tell you that right now. She's not bad. And
no, I think she's good. I think she's and she's she's still really young. So yeah. Obviously, I think there's a lot of room for growth in her. But I mean, she's miles ahead of, I would say, a lot of the indie girls that are going around right now. But maybe. Like I said, that's maybe my hopes, is that WWE maybe says, okay, maybe we shouldn't put them in Tough Enough because we kind of want to give them a tryout and sign them. I know that's kind of me being a little bit too hopeful, but I don't know. Who knows, And I was hoping maybe Mr. Tim Donst would get a chance, because he sent out a video once again. You can tell who has experience in wrestling because he cut one of the better promos and he stood out. He wasn't just the same person cutting a promo in their living room talking about how they're tough enough and how they're the best and what the fuck ever. Like I said, all the promos looked and sounded exactly the same. So I was disappointed he didn't get picked, but what can you do?
Yeah, and if Tim Dodds goes to WWE, man, to me, I feel like when I think AIW, I think of him first, and he leaves to go to WWE. I mean, I'll be like, fuck. It'll be just weird for me just to see him go to WWE, because for years I think he's the AIW guy. You know, that's how I see him. You know, like I see WWE today, I see John Cena. You know, TNA, fuck, I guess I see Kurt Angle. You know, Ring of Honor, I see more like Roderick Strong or an AJ Styles. That's how I see Ring of Honor today. So, I mean, I don't know, but if he leaves to go to WWE, that'd be cool for him. But for AIW, it's like, who I see for AIW? You know what? Josh Alexander. Well, we'll see. All right. Jumping up will be on live June 23rd, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, June 23rd. Tuesday on the USA Network. If you're interested, check it out. It's going to be a little different. It's not going to be like what you see the last couple of seasons. It's something Chris Jericho pointed out that it's going to be more like The Voice. Almost, I kind of got an idea how it would be, like almost like American Idol type shit. So if anything, there you go. And you have the power to choose. If I don't, like I said, these other names, I don't recognize them at all. So if anything, I'll vote for that Shotzi girl or Ashley, whatever her name is. Because I saw her in the ring. She's not that bad. I'll tell you that much. She's not bad. She'll do some crazy ass dives and shit, but she's not bad. So, and she even press skits as well. Skits will tell you straight out. You know, she's pretty good. All right. All right. Another thing that happened on Raw today. Hold on, we got a caller. I don't know who's calling us right now. Area code 289. You're on live on Wrestlingheads Radio. Who's speaking?
Yo, what's going on? It's Matt from WWP. Are you guys seeing the shade being thrown by Kevin Owens and Kevin Nash on Twitter right now? This is fucking hysterical.
Oh, I don't know what's going on. What's going on?
Kevin Nash just buried Kevin Owens on Twitter, and Owens comes back with this Nash hadn't blocked me, then I'd answer his questions.
What?
Oh, yeah. You guys should go check it out.
Oh, jeez.
What the fuck? What did Kevin Nash say about Kevin Owens?
He's like, do ladies want to be with him? Do men want to be him? Basically burying him because of his size, saying he shouldn't be pushed.
Listen, I'm going to say this. First of all, Kevin Owens is fucking married, and I've seen his wife, and she is pretty smoking hot. She is, she's way out of my league. She's way out of my league. So, but, you know, this is Kevin Nash, the guy who thrived on barely doing anything in the ring and, you know, making as much money without doing shit. So, whatever, yeah.
Wow. I'm surprised Kevin Nash had to say something. You know, there's a lot of legends like Rock. Speaking of Twitter, I know we're kind of on Raw, and this is going off subject, but I think we have to mention it because it was something big that happened over the weekend, and I'm glad that Matt's on now because I want to get his thoughts. The whole situation with Havoc. For those of you that don't know, over the weekend, Jessica Havoc was at a WWE tryout. And during the middle of it, fans decided to dig up some old tweets, and they were, you know, there were some racist comments, the use of the N-word, there was the use of the homophobic F-word going out there. I don't want to repeat them. If you want to find the tweets, they're probably on every major website now. You could probably look at them. She deleted them, but people, of course, have them. So if you want to see what they said, go out and find them. They were from about 3 years back.
There were some like racist remarks regarding, like, you know, something about KFC and something about like
watermelon, like basically stereotyping the stereotypical stuff that people use for black people, which is completely unacceptable and out of taste. I don't care. She was saying she was joking with friends. Listen, I don't care what the fuck you were doing. You don't say those type of things in the first place because, number one, it's wrong. Number two, you don't say it on social media. But like I said,
I think that is the biggest thing, is the social media thing. That really put her in a hole.
Yeah, and it's I don't know how people can't get that what you write on social media is there forever. It's going, if you write something stupid, okay, if you write something stupid once, that's fine. If you make one stupid comment, okay, that's fine. But this wasn't a stupid comment. This was, very racist and hateful remarks. Jay Briscoe got in trouble years ago for what he wrote on Twitter. And he had to, face the consequences of that. He didn't get in trouble too much with Ring of Honor. He gave up his next 2 Ring of Honor checks to the LGBT. And, but it's just, I don't understand how people don't know not to write that stuff. And one of the things that kind of made me laugh was Jessica Havoc goes, well, I was young and I was stupid. She was 24 years old when she wrote those, 23, 24.
I think the best part about the whole situation is the fact that she deleted the tweets while she was at a WWE tryout. Like, that's fucking terrible.
And it makes her look stupid because she was like, people were saying she was like in the middle of the ring when this whole thing blew up. So you have to imagine people that were at the tryout that weren't even in the ring are looking on Twitter, and they're like, Jessica, you're going to be in some trouble. And think about what WWE management must think. Like, we brought in this girl, and apparently they were very high on Jessica Havoc and possibly going to sign her. Maybe they still might. I don't know. Maybe they think, oh, let's give her a second chance. I don't, I'm not WWE management. I can't speak for them. But it makes her look stupid. It makes her look immature. And like I said, she said she was young and stupid. She was 23, 24. I'm 22 years old. If that's what she considers immature, I don't know what she's thinking. I'm 22 years old, and I know, first of all, that writing those things is absolutely wrong and should never be written. It should never be spoken, even in joking manners. Never. I would love to see that if somebody insulted Jessica Havoc on Twitter, what fit she would have. If somebody called her fat or somebody insulted her looks or her weight or just something, she would get pissed. And this is even a bigger deal than insulting someone's weight. What do you think of this, Oscar? I've been talking for the most part just because this whole situation is funny to me. But what do you think of this whole thing?
Yeah, I would like to hear Skitz's comment because he is black, and he likes Jessica Havoc, and I want to hear his comments. But hopefully he'll come on the show later on because the Dodgers just beat the Diamondbacks, so he might be coming on in a bit, and maybe we can ask him his comments. But as for me, I mean, I think she said one thing about the Spanish people, which I am Hispanic. I'm shocked that she posts those things on Twitter because I met her during WrestleMania week. I met her at the NXT show, and she was really nice. And I saw her again with Drew Gulak after WrestleMania. After the show was over, I saw her in the streets. I guess she recognized me from the NXT show, and then me and Gulak, PWG, we were like giving out high fives and stuff, and me and Skitz were on fight thing. And I told Gulak, I'll see you at PWG and bring Havoc with you. She was just laughing like, yeah, like I wish I could get there, but she was cool though. She was cool, and then I was like, fuck, when I saw these tweets, I'm like, holy shit. I don't think they're going to sign her. That's
not a good indication of who a person is, because I remember this was years ago, had to have been 08, 09. I met Jay Briscoe when I was first getting into Ring of Honor. One of my buddies took me to a Ring of Honor show down at the Hammerstein Ballroom when they were still running there. And, or was it the Manhattan Center? Anyway, one of the two buildings in the same facility. And I met Jay Briscoe, and he was a nice guy. You know, my buddy told me that, like, they'd been in Ring of Honor since the beginning. And Jay and Mark were nice. They were, you know, polite, respectful. They were cool to talk to. And, you know, I haven't really talked to too many wrestlers at too many shows, but I've never really had a bad experience. But, you know, it just shows you, because Jay was nice to me, but we've seen what Jay Briscoe has written on Twitter before, so it's not a good indication. It's just, you know, it's her own fault. You know, people are blaming the guy who brought it up, you know, and maybe a person going back in a person's timeline and finding an old tweet is bad, but it should have never been there in the first place. That's the point.
Yeah, I've seen some people posting some old tweets, like when Rusev, before he signed with WWE, there's a tweet that I forgot, like, it was a funny tweet about, like, he needs to take a shit or something, or he needs to bathroom before he shit on himself or some bullshit. Yeah. And I think I see Lana tweet some crazy shit too before she joined the WWE. But I would be careful what you tweet back. And if you know, it doesn't matter who you are, I would be careful. To
throw something out there, why wouldn't people just get a fucking new Twitter account when they fucking join WWE? Are they that stupid?
I guess. But
maybe
Havoc was. But what sucks though, Havoc was getting a tryout, and this might cost her getting signed. So and don't forget, she's in a relationship with Solomon Crowe. We should not forget about that too. So. Yeah,
I mean, I don't think. See, that's what people were saying too. Is like, oh, is this going to affect Solomon Crowe? Is he going to be buried? Listen, I'm pretty sure WWE and Triple H is smart enough not to associate Solomon Crowe with Jessica Havoc's tweets just because they're dating. And I don't think they were. I don't know if they were. I don't even think they were dating back then.
To play devil's advocate,
I mean,
though, Tom, Drew McIntyre, Tiffany, enough said.
Well, yeah, but he got beat up by her. So, I mean, and that was Vince McMahon saying, "Oh, look at it, he got beat up by a woman." You know, it's just, you know, it was Vince McMahon saying, "Oh, you know, he was not a man." But I don't think they'll associate because Solomon Crowe wasn't involved with those tweets. You know, like I said, I don't think he was even dating her at the time, so they're probably not going to put it on him. Hopefully, I don't think so. But you imagine being in his shoes or her shoes. In his shoes, it's like, man, my girl's getting a tryout. She might be able to get into the WWE with me. We both made it. We were both, you know, on the indies for so long, and this comes out, like, and she's in the middle of the ring doing a tryout, and this happens, and you have to imagine at the end of the tryout, somebody pulled her aside and is like, well, what the fuck is this? Like, what is this on Twitter now? It's embarrassing. It has to be completely and utterly embarrassing. That's, like I said, that she even made those comments. Nonetheless, the fact that they got exposed the day of her tryout.
Yeah. I mean, it's still embarrassing for her. I mean, she's a great talent, but you know, fuck, dude, it's just fucking sucks. So I mean, you know, it's all her fault. You know, she should have realized what happened, and you know, she makes all these racist comments on Twitter, and look what happened. She might have lost an opportunity. But we'll see down the road if she get another chance. Hey, remember, WWE was trying to offer the Briscoes another chance. They turned down the offer. So who knows, like in a year or two, they'll give another offer to Havoc. So we'll see what happens.
And like I said, people nowadays, I wish this could be involved with wrestling classes when people are first starting out. All you have to do is, if you're a trainer or you're in the WWE, regardless if it's indie or WWE, you get in front of your students and you say, listen, don't post any stupid shit on Twitter, because when that happens, you're going to get fucked. You know? Like I said, this was a less of a situation, but look what happened to Seth Rollins not too long ago, where he, I guess, got hacked or whatever, and that nude picture of the girl from NXT, Zara or whatever, got posted, and then you see Seth Rollins' dick on Twitter because of that, and that's embarrassing for him and the company. So it's like you have to be careful with social media. You know, be smart. I don't know how this is an issue. Like, this shouldn't be an issue. This should be common sense.
Yeah, another thing, you gotta realize, I mean, I wasn't too familiar with her back then when those tweets came out, but what stage in her life back then she was in? I mean, was she part of the wrestling business at that time? Because I barely started hearing about her maybe, 2 years ago? But back in 2011 and 12, I didn't heard of her at all, and I don't know what the hell she was doing at that time. I mean, what kind of stage was she? Was she on drugs? Was she fucking drunk? Like, well, what was up with her back then? Was she in a good place at the time? Who knows? You know? At least if you're a hardcore Jessica Havoc fan, you could just hit us up at Wrestlingheads and let me know. Let me know what what part of stage of her life she was back then. So, who knows? But all I gotta say is I don't see her coming to WWE pretty soon, and hopefully Skits can call in. Maybe he can post this thing because she mostly comments about black people, and sucks. But I just want to hear what Skits has to say because he's, like I said earlier, he is a Jessica Havoc fan, but. Saying that, I want to hear what he says, I like to hear his thing. Hopefully he calls in pretty soon, But, not much else happened with Raw.
Wyatt's had a match against Los Matadores. They used the 3D, and now they're kind of a thing, maybe Wyatt's versus Dudley's match, maybe?
Yeah, if they want to bring him in, I don't know if Bubba or Devon wants to come back. That's the question. Like, maybe they'll do it for a part-time schedule, but I don't know about getting back on the road, all that stuff like they did 10 years ago. I don't know if they'd be down to do that. But, I mean, there's some people chanting, get the tables, or I heard something else that relates to Dudley Boys as well. I heard the 3D when they did the move. But, it's kind of strange they're using the 3D as their finisher move. So I want to hear Bubba or Devon's tweets about it. Maybe they'll respond soon. But it's kind of weird to see these guys doing it.
Yeah. They actually have responded. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
If you guys
all right. What was it? Do you know what Bubba said?
Yeah, Bubba's like, if the WWE had the balls to see the Dudley death drop done properly, they would have done it.
What?
Yeah, so the tweet says, "Dear at WWE, if you wanted the Dudley death drop hit the way it should be, you should have had the balls to call us #Raw New Orleans." And Devon responded to that with, "Oh, my brother, testify."
Fucking Devon. Fucking awesome. Well, we'll see. Maybe we'll see a Dudley Boys and Wyatt match down the road. I don't know if you want to call them the Wyatt family, but we'll see what happens. But right now, they look like they're a dominant team and no one can fuck with right now. So they're destroying guys. I'm surprised they didn't put them in the chamber match, but I like what they're seeing with those guys, and I like freaking Luke Harper's freaking mic work and Eric Rowan's. It's okay to be scared. The time's right. It's okay to be scared, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Also, what was I going to say? What else happened on Raw? I just something positive happened to Raw. But actually, you know what? I'm not going to lie. Roman Reigns and Kofi had a good match.
Yeah, they did. They had a pretty good match. The New Day thing has been working pretty well. the way Roman Reigns has been being booked as kind of like the bro to Dean Ambrose, it's the best he's been so far. It's, he's cutting the best promos he's ever cut. He's been having some solid matches. It's something that works, and it doesn't feel like it's something that's forced. It just seems like he's like having fun with Dean, and it works. So, that's been good. Obviously, that they're building up Money in the Bank. Rusev broke Lana's ankle tonight.
Yeah.
I thought that was just hilarious. And just like the look on his face. He was like, yep, I broke her ankle. Fuck it. But yeah, not much else is going on with Raw. I mean, main event, Jamie Noble and Joey Mercury taking on Seth Rollins in a handicap match. And due to Dean Ambrose sitting at ringside, caused a distraction, Mercury pinned Seth Rollins 1, 2, 3.
Yep, that's what happened. And also, we had to mention 2 more matches have been added for Money in the Bank, and which is Paige will be going against Nikki Bella for the Divas title. And also, which we saw Nikki beat Summer Rae, by the way. And also the tag team titles will be on the line. Will be the New Day going against the Primetime Players. That's been added in the match. Oh, the freaking kickoff show. R-Truth going against King Barrett. Now that's gonna be the kickoff show. But it was funny that he came out during the segment that he thought it was part of the Money in the Bank match, and I actually thought he was in there, but then I was like, hold on, wait a minute, wait. And that's when King brought it up, so I was like, oh shit. So that was kind of funny. All right, that's pretty much all on Raw. We just pretty much announced new matches for Money in the Bank and information about Tough Enough. Now we got the idea who's gonna be on Tough Enough, but Skip said he's gonna call in a few minutes.
Maybe we can ask him one more question too. And you know what that question is, guys?
Is he going to rack him?
Yeah.
Now the next question I gotta ask Matt: will he be on Sean 2 Cents when it comes to PWG Bola?
Thanks. Yeah, anyway, because, we're very limited on time and we were going to talk about it earlier. Switching to New Japan, obviously, for those who don't want to know, spoilers incoming. The winner of the Best of the Super Juniors is Kushida. I picked him to win. I think a lot of people did. That match against Kyle O'Reilly, the final match, holy shit. Man. That is a match of the year candidate without a doubt. That was the best match of the tournament. If you have not seen it, go out of your way. Go to NewJapanWorld.com. Check it out. It is worth the price of New Japan World for a month alone. That is how good it is. But I thought the whole tournament was really good. I thought Geto looked really good for his age, and so did Liger. Barbario Cavernario and David Finlay, obviously, two debuting people. I thought they both looked good. David Finlay actually surprised me. He did really well on some of the matches against some of the experienced guys like Kushida. So he did really well. Of course, Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly obviously did good. I think bringing in Red Dragon really, really helped this tournament. Especially considering the injury to Alex Shelley that happened. So it was good having those guys in. So I thought it was a very good tournament.
Yeah, it definitely was. I think I also picked Kushida to win it all as well. But him and Kyle O'Reilly's match, I agree with you. It's match of the year candidate, or maybe it is the match of the year. But I feel like they made it like. Let's just say this is the first time you got into New Japan. Let's just say you barely got into it. They made the tournament look important. Why is the Best of Super Junior important? And that final match, it was freaking amazing, and that shows you if you're a new guy that barely get into New Japan, you should know why now. Why this tournament is important. And Kushida just won the damn thing, so that's good for him. And he was in the finals, if I'm not mistaken, against Ricochet last year, and he lost to Ricochet. So now hopefully people or new eyes they look at the New Japan product and see, okay, this is a great ass tournament. I gotta see this again. Well, get ready for the G1 Climax when the heavyweights get at it. Now that's gonna be a good tournament as well. But fucking Kushida, now he's gonna get a title shot on July 5th, which I believe, against Kenny Omega. And let's just see if he'll just walk out with the title,
Yeah, maybe, who knows? It's gonna be a great match. And also something that was announced during the final night of Best of the Super Juniors was the participants for the G1 Climax happening this summer. It's going to be 19 shows going from July 20th, I believe, to August 16th. So the participants, we got AJ Styles, we got Tanahashi, of course, Bad Luck Fale, Doc Gallows, Hiroki Goto, Hiroshi Tenzan, Carl Anderson, Katsuyori Shibata, Okada, Kota Ibushi, Satoshi Kojima, Nakamura, Tetsuya Naito, Togi Makabe, Tomoaki Honma, Tomohiro Ishii, Toru Yano, Yuji Nagata, Yujihiro Takahashi, and making his New Japan debut. He's been waiting a long time for this. Unbreakable Michael Elgin is making his New Japan debut. He will be in the G1 Climax. Obviously, that's the big news coming out of the participant announcements. First, I want to start off with Matt because he's been familiar with fellow Canadian Michael Elgin for a while. What do you think about Elgin going into the G1 Climax?
I'm going to share a little bit of a tidbit of information here. Probably shouldn't share this, but I'm going to anyways. I had tweeted something out about a week or so ago about Elgin getting in because I saw it come across my timeline. And Elgin followed us and DM'd us and asked where we saw it and said that it wasn't supposed to be announced until New Japan announced it. So I did know about this a couple of days ago, and I was very, very happy for Elgin, very, very happy for his success, and really, really, really well-deserved, especially if you know who Michael Elgin is.
Yeah, I mean, I see a lot of people, it was kind of split. A lot of people were happy, including myself. Michael Elgin, he's worked hard. He's, been wanting to go to New Japan for a while. Regardless of what's happened to him last year, I think that's irrelevant. And it's going to create so many good matches. I mean, him versus Ishii, holy shit, that match has to happen. It has to. The one thing I was disappointed in, the one thing I was disappointed, and it actually was very interesting, is they only announced 20 guys for this tournament, and it's going to be 19 days. And last year it was shorter. I believe the G1 Climax was I forget how many days, but it wasn't 19. It was a lot shorter. I think it was 12. So they added an extra 7 days to this tournament, and with 2 less competitors. I was highly disappointed Roderick Strong wasn't in this. I thought he would have made it based on his performances at the ROH New Japan shows, because he was the MVP of all 4 of those nights. I mean, he put on a hell of a performance. So I was disappointed in that. No Kenny Omega in there. I was surprised. Usually they don't put junior heavyweights in the G1 Climax, but I thought maybe they would have, made an exception and said, we're really going to push Kenny Omega, especially since Yujihiro Takahashi is in there. But, happy for Elgin.
He's in there too, no? Kota Ibushi's in the tournament, no?
Yeah, he's in there, and that's why I kind of thought, now Ibushi's in there as well. So it's like, okay, maybe they're going to start putting some juniors in as well. But I don't know. I don't know why they put in less guys for this tournament, and they're going to make it longer days, which means we're going to see probably a good amount of tag and six-man tags when people aren't wrestling, for the tournament on the days where they where they have off. They're definitely going to spread out the singles matches, since it's going to be 19 days. So it's going to be interesting what New Japan does with this tournament. But it's looking good, and like I said, very happy for Michael Hogan.
All right, I have a question for you, Tom. Do you have a favorite to win this year's G1 Climax?
It's hard. It's hard right now. I think after Dominion, I'll have a better guess of who will win it. I could see Nakamura winning it. Tanahashi could easily win it and get back into the IWGP heavyweight scene. My dark horse right now is Shibata. I don't know if he'll win it, but maybe there's a good chance that they are going to push him. So that's kind of like my dark horse for right now. But like I said, after Dominion, I think I'll have a better guess of maybe the favorites going in.
Yeah, those names you announced could probably win it. Shibata is the dark horse. I was thinking Naito, but then let's just say Okada wins the title back at Dominion. So most likely we'll see Okada against Naito again at Wrestle Kingdom, but we just saw that 2 years ago,
From an outside
think
point of view, do you guys think there's any possible way that one of the Bullet Club members win and they break up the Bullet Club?
Okay, the Bullet Club is kind of interesting because now with all the AJ Styles rumor, he could be going to WWE, and who knows when AJ's contract runs out. I was hearing maybe the end of the year his contract runs out. So will he be part of Wrestle Kingdom? Maybe not. Who knows? But
I don't see AJ Styles winning it. I wouldn't see him winning it anyway, because if Okada wins the title, then you're setting up another AJ Styles Okada feud for Wrestle Kingdom, which it'll be kind of done by then. I think Dominion's just kind of going to be the end of the AJ Styles Okada feud. Maybe they'll do one more match after the G1 Climax, possibly. If any of the Bullet Club members are going to win or come close to winning, it's going to be Carl Anderson. I don't know how serious New Japan would be in pushing him. The last time he was really a singles competitor was 2012, and that was after Jason Albert, A-Train, Giant Bernard left New Japan. There was a point where Carl Anderson was getting a good push, and he got some title shots. I just don't see it happening. I feel like New Japan sees Bullet Club as, tag teams, and the main guy in that group they see as AJ Styles. So they don't really see, maybe they don't see much in the other guys as far as singles competition goes.
Yeah, but we'll just see what happens the next couple of months with New Japan and AJ Styles. But after Matt's question about a Bullet Club member winning it, I mean, I don't see Carl winning it at all. Even like you said, they haven't pushed him the same guy since 2012, and I don't know, unless somehow Nakamura or Tanahashi joins the Bullet Club, and that'll be very interesting. But I don't see Tanahashi joining the Bullet Club.
I was just thinking, because all good things in wrestling have to come to an end eventually, and Bullet Club's been running for quite some time. It's been about, 2 years or so?
2 or 3 years. I remember we just started with Prince Devitt, Bad Luck Fale, and Anderson. It started off like that, and then it just started growing and growing, just like sort of like kind of similar like how the NWO did. Started with 3 guys and it starts growing. And yeah, I think you should see what's gonna go down. I mean, maybe the end of the year will be the end of the Bullet Club. Who knows? But yeah, just it's, like I said, it depends on AJ's contract. And no, and I'll take that back. Even if AJ does leave and go to WWE, Bullet Club's probably will still be around.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I think AJ Styles was really the exception of New Japan pushing a gaijin. You know, they're very hesitant, first of all, about bringing gaijins into there, and the Bullet Club was kind of the forefront of bringing a whole bunch of gaijins into the company. And, you know, obviously I think they probably saw a lot of, you know, interest in having AJ Styles main eventing because of his name and obviously his in-ring talent. So I don't know though. I don't think, you know, after AJ, you know, drops the title, I don't think they see much more in the Bullet Club as far as world title reigns going forward.
Yeah, definitely. But before we go off air, Tom, the guy you want to know about the Jessica Havoc situation is calling up right now. Maybe he'll give all his little thoughts. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for WH Skits. What's going on, Skits? Skits, you there? Hold on. What the fuck's wrong with this damn thing? Hold on.
Buried by Blog Talk Radio.
Maybe you can
You
effed
up.
but
You effed up. Here, I'll try it.
no,
Get you on, buddy?
Nah, I was saying, let's stop blaming Blog Talk Radio. I am at Dodger Stadium. Like
Now we can blame Blog Talk Radio.
yeah. But Skits, what's your thoughts of the Havoc thing? I know you're a big Havoc fan.
Not really a big fan of hers, to be honest with you. Really don't really watching her stuff and know she's, you know, I'm not a fan of hers. She's just a big name to me. I'm not gonna sit up here and lie and say I'm a fan of hers, but it was 2 years. I mean, it was like what, 2012 this accident happened.
Yeah, like
yeah. 11, 12.
That's
A lot of people like use that word freely. The N-word. You know, a lot of people use that word freely nowadays.
Well,
so.
yeah. But I just feel like if you used to hard ER, that's kind of fucked up, you know?
I've seen different tweets where she used both.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she used both, which I don't think she shouldn't have used either.
I mean, I don't know, dude. It was 2 years ago. I mean, I don't know where people dig up the shit. It's kind of retarded, if you ask me.
Well,
that's like me and you. That's like me and you getting into a fight, and I dig up some shit you said like 2 years ago.
Yeah, but I mean, there is, you know, both sides that we were talking about earlier. That there was the sense that why would somebody be digging up all these old tweets? But then there's the fact that these tweets were out there. They shouldn't have been out there in the first place. And
that is true. In 2012, what was she doing?
Yeah, well, it was 2011, I think, in 2012. 2011, I just graduated high school. I was going into college. In 2012, I was in college.
No, not what you were doing. What was Havoc doing around that time? I'm asking.
I don't know. Probably Shimmer, you know, WSU. I don't know. She was like 24 years old, so she was still young. But see, that's what we were talking about earlier, is that she was like, oh, I was immature. You know, it was a long time ago. I'm 22 right now, and I would never even think about saying things like that. You know, even, you know, she was saying it was in a joking manner. I would never say those things in a joking manner because it's inappropriate and it's offensive.
It is. It is that. I mean, but it really has nothing to do with wrestling. That's the thing, you know.
Yeah, that is true. But when you're WWE,
but Skip, you gotta realize WWE's management is fucking are like so.
Well,
up the ass. Look with the Jay Briscoe thing a couple years ago with this homophobic thing. Now you guys have it could possibly cost her getting a shot at signing with WWE right now. You know, it might cost her. But who knows down the road? They were trying to give the Briscoes another chance just a few months ago, but they turned it down to go to the Ring of Honor and stay in Ring of Honor. Who knows? In a year or two, they might give Havoc another shot. But anyways, we're running out of time right now on Wrestlingheads Radio.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on. I'm not finished talking real quick. So,
right.
You mentioned about WWE's being up the ass, but how come they weren't up the ass when one of their workers called diarrhea a racial word, you know?
I don't know if that's even true or not. Like, I don't never really looked up about that, if that's even true. But if it's true, that's kind of like, that is kind of fucked up. And I don't know if the guy's still employed in the WWE or not. So
no, he got fired. Like right after like Del Rio got released, they fired that guy. Like they didn't even say. I don't even think they said they released him. I think people were saying fired. Like, but see, yes, what that social media manager said to Del Rio, it was offensive, and that guy should have had the shit kicked out of him because he's a fucking moron. But that was talking person to person. That wasn't on social media. He didn't post that on Twitter. You know?
Yeah.
He said it to Del Rio's face, which Del Rio probably should have, punched him in the face instead of slapped him.
Yeah.
But it, like I said, there. Hopefully,
know what?
Go ahead.
I'm gonna share more.
Hey, Skids.
On Thursday show.
Hey, Skids, there's something else I know you're going to want to comment on. And
I know Matt was online.
Yeah, Matt is on.
You said what?
And Kevin Nash buried Kevin Owens. I know you're going to want to comment on that one.
We'll wait until Thursday for me to talk about that shit. Cause, I'm literally I'm like literally getting dressed to go home from work. So I'm gonna holler at you guys later.
Skids. Hold on. Hey, Skids.
What up?
One question, man.
Is he going to
rack him? Is he going to want to rack him? I know you, bro. I'm out.
All right, peace. All right, this Skids. You guys can follow him at WHRADIO. All right, let's just wrap this up for tonight. We're gonna be back on Thursday. We're gonna come in more of this Kevin Nash thing. And I guess we might as well give out our Money in the Bank predictions on Thursday. But meantime, we're going to give out our plugs. You can just follow us at Wrestlingheads on Twitter. Like us on Facebook, Wrestlingheads. Follow us on Instagram. You can see old photos of me and Skids. Or whatever events, wherever you just like our photos like Matt always does. We're also on Google Plus. Follow us on that if you have a Google Plus. Check out our website, wrestlingheads.com. Check out my blog. I just post Classic Match of the Week. I did post the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson against Tyler Black, 2008. That was my Classic Match of the Week. Check that out. And not only check my stuff, I check out our bloggers as well. I think we got a guy named Mark's going to join in. We see him at the PWG shows. I guess he's going to start writing for us about or Japanese wrestling. You can follow me at Sinister632 on and Twitter and Instagram. Also, before I pass it the time, I just want to say you can also subscribe with at YouTube at youtube.com/wrestlingheads, Pro Wrestling Teams/wrestlingheads, and also I'm gonna give a little announcement. We're working on bringing shirts to shows like PWG or whatever shows out there. We're gonna bring shirts around, so come find us. We'll give you a Wrestling Head shirt. So if you want one, let us know and we'll bring one. But hopefully before the PWG show, Mystery Vortex, we'll have those shirts. And And that's about it. Go ahead, Tom.
Yep, you can follow me on Twitter at @2tweetme, my only social media account. That's where I'm talking wrestling, so follow me there. Make sure you follow the Elite Podcast Network at Elite Podcast Net. Make sure you guys check out Indie Power Rankings tomorrow and Wednesday. I'm sure Max can elaborate more on what's going on technically with that. Of course, we got Wrestlingheads Thursday, as well as the Uncle Mike and Tom show. And as always, every Sunday, Eyes on the Ring. They'll be talking post Money in the Bank, so you don't want to miss that. So, Matt, give out every plug that you can give out.
Yeah, maybe that's more going. Yes, I definitely got to throw that out there. Yesterday, I had the honor and privilege of interviewing, actually 2 days ago, excuse me. Wow, I'm a little bit behind on time, but 2 days ago, I had the honor and the privilege of interviewing one Samoan submission machine, Samoa Joe. It's up on YouTube. Check it out. Indie Power Rankings live tomorrow, featuring some Alpha 1 Assemble hype. Going to be good times, plus Carolina Corner. Wednesday's Tag Team Top 5 reveal features Jigsaw, so that's going to be really, really good. Really looking forward to that. Both Uncle Mike and Tom show and Beyond the 3 Count this week, we'll be talking with Alessandro Del Bruno, so it's kind of a media week for him, as he put on Twitter. So that's something you guys should check out. Not sure if we're going to be doing a Wrestle Chat episode this Friday, but working on it, working on times and working on whatever. So stay tuned to @WeeklyW Podcast on Twitter and keep up with that. We got the brand new 2-year anniversary shirts in stock right now. So if you guys are interested, you can hit us up on Twitter, hit me up on Facebook, and we'll have them up the shows. So definitely recommend checking those out and checking us out at shows. Wow, I can't speak. Yeah, that's pretty much about it. YouTube.com/Weekly Wrestling Podcast, ProWrestlingTees.com/WWP/IndiePower/WrestlingHeads. Support the Elite Podcast Network directly.
Yeah, and I know I wanted you on Thursday to hype up Alpha One's big show on Sunday, which we talked a little bit about with John Silver today. So make sure you're there Thursday, because I know Alpha One's going to have a big show Sunday.
Absolutely. I can definitely vouch on that. One of their biggest shows and their mid-season finale. And we're going to have event shirts. So, I mean, why not be there?
Yeah, definitely. And I guess we're closing this shit out. So Thursday, we'll be out. Peace.
Peace.
Back in.